I love the church. I love talking about the church and what it's all about. And I know that you understand that we are a church. That's who we are. But you might not understand why we are the kind of church that we are. Let me just ask for a show of hands. How many of you did grow up in the church? Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Just let me see. All right. And I know most of you grew up in a Catholic church, right? So go ahead and put your hand up if you grew up in a Catholic church. All right. I'm not pointing you out. I want you to understand that I think that what happens a lot of times is that people think the difference between the kind of church that Parkview is and the kind of church that maybe you grew up in is a difference between Catholic and Protestant. And I want you to understand something. First of all, we are not Protestant. The root word of Protestant is protest, and I am not protesting anything. You could call me a lot of things and not get a rise out of me, but don't call me a Protestant, okay? You call me a cheesehead if you want, but don't call me a Protestant. The difference, however, is not about doctrine. It's not about Protestant or Catholic. It's not about what we believe and the message. The difference between what Parkview does and most other churches is the method. I did not grow up in a Catholic church like many of you. I did not have a priest in a robe and incense and rosary prayers, but we had pastors in suits and hymns and Shakespearean prayers. And we sang about the cherubim and the seraphim who wert and art and evermore shall be. And I knew art, but I had no idea who Art was or where he evermore would be. The thing is, I'm saying our church growing up and your church growing up were probably the same. They weren't like this, but it's not because of the message, it's because of the method. Every church is supposed to exist to help people come home to God. And most of them choose a different method than the one we do, okay? Honestly, most of them choose a method that is the way they've always done it, all right? And I'm just being honest. If you want to know the reason why 70 to 80% of the churches in America are stagnant or declining and 4,000 churches close every year, is because their leaders care more about the model than they do about people, right? Andy Stanley says it this way: all churches are culturally relevant. The question is whether they are relevant to a culture that currently exists in their community or to one that disappeared generations ago.